Hey guys, hope you are doing well. So in today's video we are going to learn about one of a backlog prioritization technique. So if you are a product owner or if you are a Scrum Master, it is very important that you do know some of the good product backlog prioritization techniques, because it is one of the most important roles of a product owner, that he should have the product backlog arranged in a manner that the requirements are prioritized. And also, if you are a Scrum Master, then it is one of your accountabilities to help the product owner to come up with a prioritized backlog. So you should be aware of some very good techniques that can help the product owner to achieve this prioritized backlog. So we are going to discuss about MoSCoW prioritization today. So here, MoSCoW is spelled as MoSCoW. You need to pay attention to four letters over here: M, S, C, and W. Wherein M stands for must-haves, S stands for should-haves, and C stands for could-haves, and W stands for won't have or will not have. So M, S, C, W. Let's try to delve into each one of these and try to understand what do these terms mean and how can we prioritize our product backlog according to this MoSCoW prioritization techniques. So M means must-haves. So these are those requirements without which my product cannot survive. These are the bare minimum set of requirements that are needed for your product. You cannot come up with a minimum viable product if you don't have these requirements inbuilt. It is foremost necessity of any product. For example, if you are building a house, so having the foundation is the must have. You cannot start building a house without having the foundation. If you are building a mobile phone, then having the calling functionality is the must have, because that's the foremost requirement for which the mobile phone is used. So these are the must have requirements. A product owner should be understanding that for my product, what are the must haves, and when he or she is discussing the requirements with the stakeholders, he should try to categorize the requirements in all of these four categories. So must haves is something without which I cannot roll out my product to the market. Then comes should have. So as the word says, should, these are the requirements which are not must haves but the product should be having. I have seen that a lot of people do confuse a lot between must have and should have. So how to determine what is should have and what is must have? So you need to understand that should have is something which is a kind of must have in the long term, right? What I mean by this, so should have is something that actually adds value to my product, right? I can still roll out a mobile phone in the market that has only calling functionality, but these days, do you think that anyone is going to buy the phone if I don't have internet connectivity in it? So this is a should have for my product. So it is actually those requirements that gives value, the real value to your product, and these are kind of must haves in the long term, but not right now. For example, for building the house, to start with, having the foundation is the must have right now at the current moment, but having the walls and the roof is a should have at the current moment. This is going to be a must have in the long term. So these are your should have requirements. Next is could have. So could have is something which you can have if the budget and time allows. These are not those requirements that are going to add lot of value, but definitely they will add certain value to the product. But if the time and budget allows, then you can have these kind of requirements accommodated in your product. So these are the could haves. Then the next is won't have. So won't have does not mean that I will never have these. Otherwise, why are we having that requirement at all, and why are we categorizing it into won't have? Won't have does mean that right now I won't have these requirements in my product. For the near future scope, I'm not going to have this, but in future, depending upon how my product emerges in the market, how much time and budget I'm getting, I may have. These won't have can turn into could have in the long run. But right now, I won't have these because I don't have that much time, or I don't have that much budget. And I or maybe right now I don't have that many users in the market that are going to avail this functionality. Maybe in future, if the demand generates, I can have these. So these are the won't have requirements. So I'll give a quick recap. M is must have, S is should have, that actually gives the real value to the product, and these are the must haves over the long term. C is could have, that you may or may not be having, it will depend upon the time and budget. W is won't have, that you are not going to have right now but may have in the future. Now another important thing, you have categorized your product backlog into these 4 categories of requirements. Awesome, good. But how are you going to actually use it when you are running your sprints? So what you need to try over here is that when you are planning your sprint backlog, try to get only 60% of must haves in your sprint backlog and only 20% of could haves. Leave a 20% of room for other things. Why? Because if you get any surprises over the period of time, if you need to drop something, it is important that you are having some could haves in your sprint backlog, so that because these are could haves, I can drop them, and in place of that, you can get in some should haves. So you should have a room to play with should haves. You should have that much flexibility that if you need to drop something or you need to add something, you should be bringing in should haves in your product backlog. Because remember, our ultimate goal in Scrum is to maximize value. And how are you going to maximize value? To try to have as much as should haves as you can. So just try to have 60% of must haves, not more than that, because if anything changes, if any surprise does come, it shouldn't be that you should be dropping anything which is must have, right? So try to avoid dropping must have, because these are the mandatory requirements. So don't keep more than 60% of must haves, and do not keep more than 20% of could haves. If you need to drop something, drop the could have, and you can get in the should haves. So if you will plan your sprint goals and then your sprint backlog according to this, then definitely it will help you in the value maximization. So this is how you can first arrange your product backlog using MoSCoW technique, and then you can plan your sprints very effectively using this MoSCoW technique. So yeah, this was it for today. I hope this was of some value for you, and it will help you. to do your scrums in a better way and to really enjoy it. I won't ask you to like or subscribe if you don't find it useful. I will only ask you that if you have any questions, please leave that question in the comment box. It can be related to this topic, or if there is any other topic in Agile, Scrum or Kanban area you want to learn, then feel free to drop me a comment. Thank you all. Bye bye.